guys, it's Sierra. So this video is going to be a little bit different. So I'm going to talk about, I don't have any points, and I was just like, I want to bake cookies. So we're going to bake cookies and kind of talk about some of the books I've been reading so far. Because I feel like the books I've read this month in March so far are books that I should have read in February for Black History Month. But it's also like the darker version of the books I could have been reading, because a lot of them have revenge as like the main plot. We're gonna briefly talk about that in this Fiction Friday video. It's a little bit odd since I'm not sitting down staring at the camera, but you know, we gotta keep moving. Anyway, so I buttered the pan. This is just bits and pieces that are being a pain in the butt. So excuse me. Performance anxiety, just a little bit, if you will. But anyway, yeah, so starting off with Ace of Spades. I don't want to go into too much detail because I feel like people who want to read it obviously will read it, or if you have read it, you know what I'm talking about. It's a heavy book because our main characters are the only two Black kids in their school. Chiamaka and ooh, Lord have mercy, I forgot his name. Devin. His name is Devin. And also, when I was just looking up his name, I actually found some really cool character art from Farida's website. So yeah, I'm actually gonna add them along the way in this video because it's really cool. Ooh, that's a big ass cookie. We're just gonna do a few cookies. I'll probably do more cookies in a separate video over on my writing channel. So if you want to follow along with my my baking fiasco, really, join in anywhere, wherever you want to. So yeah, pretty much going back to the book. The main point of this video. Chiamaka and Devin are literally the only Black kids in their school, and they have their own experiences when it comes to racism, essentially, from both perspectives. Chiamaka comes from a affluent family. Her family has money. She's also part Italian, so she has a different experience because she does come from an affluent family and lives in a nice neighborhood. But they both go to the school, so they both have completely different perspectives of what racism looks like in their own experiences. For Chiamaka, she doesn't really have that experience all that much from what you would expect at the beginning. She literally like blends in necessarily when it comes to, because she does come from money, so her family, they you know, she's not really seen as like I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I should have preheated the oven. But she doesn't really have a lot of experiences with racism. But then, as the story goes on, because it is like a Gossip Girl type of thing, there is a secret person who is spreading lies and secrets about Chiamaka and Devin. And the thing is, it's only about Chiamaka and Devin. They're the only two Black kids, so it's like literally just them being targeted by this person. But then like people that they're associated with, they kind of get thrown under the bus, but really the focus is on them and mistakes that they made and trying to make them leave, really. They're really just trying to like tear them apart. And the story gets dark fast. And along the way, you interact with some of these characters who are just a little, they're not the best. This one's kind of big. I'm gonna make this smaller. But like Chiamaka's best friend, Scotty, he, God, I hate Scotty, but he pretty much uses her. Like, let's be honest, he uses her. All right, you guys, because this pan is small and I don't like cookies to morph together, but this is one. Let that preheat for a second. But, yeah, Scotty uses her. He uses her a lot in the sense of like what he views her as and what he wants from her. It sounds like there's stuff in here. It's being annoying. But yeah, he uses her. Sorry about that. He uses her for pretty much his own sick pleasures. And it's really, really weird because he's just like egging her on and Chiamaka lets him because she's like, he's my best friend. Oh, I'm into him. So if anyone is interested in him, like, you know, I'm gonna try to get rid of him type of thing. But he don't want her like that. So when it comes to like later on in the story of everything kind of going left, I think this is already, whatever, we're gonna just roll with it. But when everything goes left, it kind of just, it amplifies to a level that you do not expect it to get to. Because now we have our two characters literally being framed for stealing. And other secrets come out that should never come out. But it's so much targeted at them that it's freaking wild. What had happened is not what I expected it to be. I expected something else. But I really just want to talk about the sense of revenge in a way in the story, because in here it's not so like, they're getting revenge on the people that are literally trying to destroy their lives or whatever. It's more so the revenge of, I deserve to be here and I belong here type of thing, without giving away too much information. So really it's a revenge in on its own, but also finding power and confidence within themselves to continue to be in school despite what is literally happening around them. Because there's a lot of betrayal. There's a lot of mistrust. Some violence, some abuse. But more so of just the fact of like, they're trying to stand up for themselves in a world that doesn't want them. I really wish that we would have gotten the perspective of, you know what, fuck it, spoilers. I really wish we would have gotten the POV from one of the students that used to go there. I think that would have been really cool for them to like find them somehow, some way. Maybe they changed their name or something like that, but it would have been really cool to see what the information they would have gotten from a person that the people have harmed. I think that would have been really interesting to see like how much of a damage that really does to people in the long run, because the book is very, obviously, the book is very much, is very focused on racism, classism, and this terrible, it's not even a prank, the game that they play on these students. Like, it's so stupid. Why would you bring students here and then literally destroy their lives? Like, y'all are some sick people, like really sick, because if y'all wanted to be exclusive, even though if they literally just said no black people goes here, like, yeah, that would have been bad, but we wouldn't have this situation if y'all just been blunt and honest in the first place. That y'all just twisted, sick, and y'all want to keep this shit to yourselves. It's really weird. So really, it's really Chiamaka's and Devin's revenge of standing their ground and affirming that they belong there, they deserve the things that they have worked hard for, because Chiamaka has worked her ass off at that school. And for them to do that mess to her, oh my god. If the ending wasn't the ending that it was, I would have loved to see Chiamaka like lose her ish, and maybe not obviously Carrie level, because there's no supernatural elements in it, but to an extent of Carrie, you know, I would have approved of it, because Chiamaka deserves to like slap some bitches around a little bit, because they deserved it. And Devin did not deserve half the things that he's experienced either. Like, our boy was struggling hard when it comes to just like life in general, and not just in school, but just dealing with the fact that he is gay. He didn't want to tell his mom, and then having a connection with somebody who was associated with the gang, and then just gang activities in this area in general, and he was dealing with too much. Chiamaka was not being as kind about it as she should have been, because girl, you don't know what he's dealing with, and you over here in your big house, and you're just like, we have to go to the principal. Some people you just can't trust, girl. And I feel like he should have spoken up even louder a bit. Like, are you sure about that, girl? Because I don't know if I can trust him. Like, I feel like if Devin was just a little bit louder, but it would have been out of character for him. But if he was just a little bit louder, we would have gotten to this conclusion a little bit faster. But yeah, that's just like the sense of revenge that I got from this story. So now, moving on to when the reckoning comes. So in the reckoning, we follow our main character, Mira, who is going to her friend's wedding. They haven't talked in like 10 years or whatever. And the wedding is at a plantation house. You know, this really much gave me like Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds energy, because y'all know they had their wedding on a plantation. So it gave that, but then it gets amped up even more with what actually goes down on that plantation. This, obviously, with my Fiction Fridays, most of these are going to have spoilers in it. So don't watch these videos if you haven't read the books. But if you don't care about spoilers, continue on, because here's going to be some spoilers. We're going to get into it because I feel like I need to speak this out loud. Either you're watching it and you're still going to read it, or you're watching it and you've already read it, and we need to chat about this, because that book went wild. Because for real, Mira's been through some mess. They all been through some mess. But her friend, Celine, girl, like, it's giving very much, they smiling in your face, they want to take your place, they're backstabbers. It's giving very much that. Like Celine, and it was Celine, Mira, and their friend, shoot, I forgot his name already. I think it was Jack. I'm going with Jake. They've been through a lot, and they live in an area where they live in an impoverished area. Let's just say that. Oh God, this is milk. They live in an impoverished area, so they really, obviously, they don't have money to do the things that normal teenagers do, which is going out and about, having their license, driving around. So they do a lot of stupid stuff. Like they're laying on tracks and waiting for the train to come type of thing. Near-death experiences. That's what they're really into. And just doing different things, hanging out, and trying to find, not even trying to find, they find safety and comfort within each other, even if it's just like sitting on the porch eating popsicles, you know, that type of stuff. So, to speed the story up from there, Jake and Mira, they go to the plantation house when they're younger, and they kind of snoop around, and Mira sees somebody in the window. And she's like, oh my God, we're not the only ones over here. So they're running back, and she and Jake get separated. Come to find out a few days later, the man that she saw, yeah, he wasn't there, but there is a body that is by the lake. And so the cops, they didn't even put two and two together. They put 2 and 5 together to make 10. Just because they saw, you know, kids, especially a black boy who broke a window, was bleeding, and a dead body. So they were like, ah, you did it. So Jake ended up going to jail. I don't know how long. I don't think Latanya specified in it how long he was in jail. But he went to jail for a while. But now they're all back for Celine's wedding. And Jake is there technically working it because he works at the plantation house. Isn't that wild? Why would you go back to the place that got your ass arrested? Like, that was just out of character and just like weird. Why would you go back to the scene of the crime? I don't get that. So yeah, they go back, and things are now weird because they are the only, well, not even only black people. Besides the servers, Mira is the only black person there. She's the only black guest there. And obviously, it's set in the South because I can hear the accents. A lot of racial tones, not even undertones, just racial tones in general. They're like, oh yeah, Celine's black friend. I'm like, oh lordy. It just makes you want to slap somebody, because the struggle is real, which I can feel for Mira, because I am now part of a bridal party for my friend, and I already know at the wedding I'm probably going to be one of the very few black people that's going to be there, maybe the only black person. So I can feel Mira on that. It's very uncomfortable. But she's like, okay, I'm just here for Celine, I'm just here for her, I'm not going to stress too much about all this other mess, these people, because I'm really just here for my friend. I want to like clear the air and get back to the connection that we had before. So time goes on. I'm not gonna give like play-by-play of every scene, but time goes on. We get to the wedding night, and Celine's missing. Not even wedding night, the next day of the wedding day, Celine is missing. So everyone's looking for her. Mira gets Jake's help, and they're like, oh my god, we gotta find her, like where did she go, type of thing. You have Celine's daddy, who was a drunk and an abuser pretty much, hollering and saying that Jake did it. Jake made her go missing or something, like maybe he killed her or whatever, because everyone believes that Jake is the one that killed the old man that lived there, which he was the guy who lived there before, was the owner of the plantation. Well, he got it from his dad, and his dad got it from his, you know, it's a family lineage. So yeah, so they're like, oh my god, you killed him, so you probably killed Celine, like this is your fault. This man is drunk, bewildered, everything, a hot mess. And so Celine's fiance, who's an older guy, he's all like, oh my god, where is she, we gotta find her and stuff like that. So Mira's like, okay, I'll go out and find her, you stay here, y'all handle this over here, but I'm gonna go help look for her. And as she's like trying to look for her, she starts to see ghosts. Like she saw a little girl prior, like the night before when she was talking to Celine. There was a little girl in the hallway. She thought it was a little girl, it's a ghost. And then as she's looking for her, there's more scenes of ghosts from the plantation around her, and they're pretty much telling their story of what went down on the plantation the night of their revolt. They didn't have a technically didn't have a whole revolt, because obviously, but everything happens down by the lake. That's where they found this body, and then later we find out Celine is dead. So Celine's body is found either in the lake or by the lake, something like that. But that water is clearly very important. Clearly very important, because some of the slaves, they try to flee through the lake. Yeah. Obviously some of them probably didn't make it. Granted, it's a lake. And that kind of just reminded me of Lake Lanier, even though it's not the exact same thing, but just the fact that a body of water holds a lot of energy, and it's also just the land in general holds a lot of energy. But that water hole holds a lot, especially probably has some corpses at the bottom too. And the fact that if people go in it, they end up dead, there's that connection. So it kind of reminded me of Lake Lanier. If you never heard of Lake Lanier, do your research. I did. It is frightening, terrifying, but also people who go in it, you shouldn't have been in it. That's just my take on that. But it's very interesting how literally she's watching all these different scenes of these ghosts reenacting the revolt night and everything that was going down. And then we get to a specific scene. I'm gonna move past like a little bit, but we get to a specific scene where Mira and Jake go back to his house, and pretty much Jake has been taking pictures of everything at the plantation and putting pieces together and creating the whole story, because there's a lot that happened on the land on the night of the revolt, but even prior to, before, well, obviously prior to and before are the same thing. Prior to the whole revolt situation with just the little girl and how she got there type of thing, but also Mira has a family connection there too. So Mira's trying to figure out how are we connected? Like, what happened to you on the plantation? Like, what is the correlation of us, obviously because we're family, but what literally is like the defining factors, what really links us together, what is your story? Because she's like, I don't even know what the fuck happened, because her mom pointed it out, said all of our ancestors were born there and they all died there. Essentially all their bodies are on the plantation land, like buried somewhere. So they go to the grave and there's like nothing there, like barely anybody. So they're like, what, where the is everybody else? Because we know it was more than like 5 slaves, we all know that. But then he's like telling her like the rest of the story and everything interwoven, and she tells him like about the ghost things that she's seen and the bits and pieces of it, and everything just like comes together. But as they like putting it all together back at the plantation, people ain't looking for Celine anymore. This is before they found out that she was dead. Everybody stopped looking for her. Everyone is drinking. Everyone is extremely drunk. There's a man pissing on the flowers. Like, they do not care. Like, they're getting effed up on their property. They do not care that she's missing. They don't care about anything. But the only thing is that Daddy still thinks that Jake did something. And so, literally, as they go back, everyone is trying to look for him because they're like, okay, now that we know that she's dead, you killed her. So, obviously, a whole bunch of white people running after 2 black people. You know what that looks like? You know what they're probably gonna do if they catch him. That's exactly what they plan on doing. But anyway, we get to like towards the end of the story. I don't want to give everything away, like everything away, but like, you know, things happen. There's more ghosts. There's a lot of different things going on, and it's wild. But almost done. Anyway, to get to the point of what I'm talking about, revenge. The spirits of the slaves, they've been getting their revenge for a minute. I don't know how long we would say, but for anyone who has lived on that property or stayed on that property, especially if you're a white person, you ended up dead. So literally the owner, he ended up dead because those ghosts were taunting him, really. He was like a very belligerent old man who was like, they trying to get me, they gonna get me, they gonna get you, or whatever. He's like very much like losing his mind. And when he saw Mira one day, he was looking at her, he was just like, you look familiar, you look very familiar. And that's when he jumped back scared because he knew her blood was on that land. So ultimately he ended up dead. And then we have Celine, who was trying to ignore the history of it when she knew what happened on that plantation. She knew the history of it, but she still didn't care. She decided to have her wedding. So the slaves killed her. That's that. And then her daddy ends up going in the water. Him too. Everyone who fails to see the true history of that land, every last one of them. It was wild. It was completely wild, and I absolutely loved it because it really does take a lot in history for people to be so blatantly oblivious to it. That's even like in today's standards, where there's so many things that not even I would say our ancestors, really. Some of us, it could be like our great grandma. Like, that's not even a far ancestor for a lot of us. What they've experienced, and even our ancestors too as well, but what they've experienced over time, there's a lot more things that we don't really talk about or know or want to know, but we have to face the truth of it all. Because they've been through some ish. Like, not even just like on a plantation, but just in their entire experience. It's a lot. It's a lot. And so it's really just like, you can't ignore that. You can't ignore that if you're black, because they were really trying to get Amira to see. They were like, focus, girl, focus. They're really trying to get her to see. And then you have white people who obviously are so oblivious to what the true history of it all is. It's gonna catch up to you too, boo, because now you want to ignore it as well. So it's very much just like, it's not even like a revenge story in the way of like being you got me so I got you. It's very much like you're ignoring the history, and we don't like that. You need to face the truth. You don't want to face the truth, I'm gonna make you face the truth, because you're gonna join your family. Like that type of thing. It's like, you're going to feel our pain, you're going to feel our wrath, and you're going to experience what we experienced. And that's on that. Like, period. Point blank. So it's really that side of revenge that has been truly interesting, because I did not realize I was reading books like that. But yeah, that's those two books. There was another book I read, This Cursed House. Now this is a different type of a revenge story. This is a different one. So, hold on a second. Oh, these look good. Yeah, I know the door's open. I opened it. The heck? Anyway, This Cursed House. I'm gonna put it up on the screen somewhere. Put all these books up somewhere. You follow our main character. Again, I do not remember her name. Sorry. One second. Gemma, there we go. I never would have guessed that. Gemma has been hired to be a tutor for the Duchamp, because it's French, Duchamp family. And she gets there. She gets to it's in New Orleans. She gets to New Orleans. Everyone's like, oh, you're for that family? So she's like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Like, what's wrong with them? Like, what's going on? Why are all so like, about this family? They're like, they don't leave the house, they don't come into town, it's very weird. Like, we don't rock with that family. They're very weird. Like, there's some weird stuff. We don't know what's up with them, but yeah, they're very weird. I'm saying weird a lot, but they're very, very weird. So she's like, okay, alrighty, well, let me go on down. She gets on down, and when she gets there, she's like, like, where's the child that I'm going to be tutoring for? Like, you know, trying to get to know the family, but also getting to know the child that she's going to be tutoring. And you really just get a feel from the family and everything. The family's like, oh, we'll do that later. Weird. Again, weird. And then a little bit over time, she finds out that there is no kid to tutor. The family hired her to get rid of a curse. Yeah. It's like, she's like, okay. She's like, I don't know how I'm gonna do that, because I don't have any connection to any like witchcraft or nothing like that. How do I get rid of a curse? What do I have to do with this? Come to find out, she's a member of the family, and her mama cursed the family the night she was born. She said something, I forgot what the phrase is, but she pretty much said, like, I cursed this family and everyone in the home, and died. It was like, okay, well, that was a very interesting way of putting a curse on people, and then all of a sudden you just like, you just died right there on their property. But every 7 years, ever since Gemma was born, every 7 years, someone in that house has died. and she didn't have to be on the property. She got adopted and she lived in Chicago. But no matter what, every 7 years, someone in that house died. It was either a husband, a kid, a cousin, somebody in that family died on that property in some type of way. And so they got to a point where they were just like, we're not even gonna leave the table. Someone died at the table eating food. Like literally, it was like literally every 7 years someone died. They were like, we gotta put a stop to this. We gotta try to figure this out. So they had a whole bunch of people come up to the house to try to get rid of this curse, because they're like, someone's gotta help us. So they hired so many different people to come down to help lift this curse. And the last person that was there said that the only way to get rid of the curse was by family blood. So they're like, well, since we can't get rid of this curse, we gotta find Gemma. So they found her, and they found out that she was going through a lot of tough stuff going on at the time. Her boyfriend slept with another woman, got her pregnant. Her father had died recently. Her mother passed away before she lost her job. So she was like very much at like a low point. So that's why she took the job up as being a tutor, because she was like, it pays pretty well and I could just get the hell out of Chicago because it's not working out for me. But she did not know that she's gonna come to this property and encounter all the things that she's been encountering, because this family is very interesting. I don't want to say weird anymore, but they're very interesting because she is of a darker complexion. She didn't think she was related to them because they are literally like, I wouldn't say as white as the cabinets, but they white enough. So they're very white passing. She had no idea that they were even related at all. I wouldn't have, if my family looked like this, I wouldn't expect that either. I'd be like, I had no idea. But yeah, she is. So she's kin. And yeah, she's trying to like lift this curse, but she doesn't know how to do it. There's a lot of weird stuff going on. The family is very much abusing their maid. They're like slapping her, knocking stuff down off the trays, or if you're like bumping into her and calling her names and stuff like that, really making her life there, making her suffer pretty much. And so they're very odd in the sense of like the way that they talk to as well. Like they say, we're proud colored people. It's like, how can you be proud colored people when you look like that? And at the same time, every time Gemma has like an experience with them, they're like, it's very uncomfortable. It's like them trying to position themselves as black, even though they are black, but they're so white passing. It's self-hatred. That's really what it is. It's a lot of self-hatred, because they don't really align themselves with Gemma, and then one of the aunts pretty much hates her, and like she's like, your mother's the one that cursed this family. I knew you couldn't lift the curse anyway. You are useless. Like, she's saying a whole bunch of stuff. I couldn't stand the woman. But it's very much like them attacking her when they need her to lift this curse. Like, how y'all gonna do that? It's, oh God. The family got some issues. So much self-hatred to the point where the person you have to rely on is your own family, but you still hate her too as well, but you rely on her. You're just using her. That's really what it is. They're just using her so they can not die, obviously. And so as she's like experiencing the different situations with them, and then also being like, y'all need me. I don't even need y'all. Y'all need me. Like, but y'all treat me like this. Like, I don't get it. And then they're like, oh, well, we know you had nothing in Chicago anyway, so technically you do need us. We're your family. Trying to hold that against her, like as it means something. That's why I swear, when people say that blood is thicker than water, I don't believe y'all. Because if y'all family was acting like this, would y'all cut them off? Because I would. I would have left that property a long time ago, okay? Because apparently she can leave the property. She's not the one cursed. They are. I would have been left. I've been like, see ya. But But you guys, she sees a cottage at the end of the forest, and she meets a woman who literally helped her leave. Pretty much, it was her, the lady, I forgot her name, and the field hand man. They took the baby. They took Gemma when she was a baby, and they took her out of town because they were like, hey, she gotta go. She can't be around this. She can't be part of this family. Because the family is not only cursed, they've done things to get them cursed in the first place. Whoo, y'all, they've done some things. I don't want to give it away. I'm not going to give it away. But I will say this. That family, whatever would happen to them, they would have deserved it. I'm just saying. They would have deserved it. And then Gemma finds out that it's not just the curse, some other stuff that has happened on the property that is literally the cause of everything. But the thing is, Gemma can see ghosts. So just like our girl, and when the reckoning comes, she can see ghosts. But she doesn't want to see them. She's always been terrified of them. And her adoptive parents, they've always been like, don't look at them. It's like, okay, well, she really doesn't have a choice but to see them. So yeah, she can't really choose to not see them. But she literally would try to by counting down, so then they would like disappear. But she's on this property, and these ghosts won't leave her alone. No one's leaving her alone at all. But there's so many twists in that book. I know I spoiled When the Reckoning Comes, but I don't want to spoil this one. I know, I'm not making any sense. Like, why are you gonna spoil one, but you're not gonna spoil the other? I feel like when you read it, it's gonna be extremely heavy. Extremely heavy. When you like, I mean, all these books are heavy, but this one takes it to a whole nother level based on the family. Ooh, yeah. So, when it comes to revenge, the revenge of this story is more so the revenge of the mother. Now, you might say, like, oh, she cursed the family. How is she, like, how is she revenging them? Like, how does that work when she's the one that put a curse on them? Oh, you'll find out why. Because you'll find out why. But still, her mother, she deserved a better life. A way better life than the one that she had. And from the night that Gemma was born, everything that went down that night, her mom deserved better than what she had experienced, not only that night, but also just her life in general, really. It's just a lot that really plays into the revenge for the mother, because whoo, I would have cursed their asses too. I would have cursed their asses. I would have cursed that land. I would have cursed everybody up in that house. And so for the fact that Gemma plans on breaking this curse, despite how the family is treating her, it feels like she is trying to find that family, that familial bond and that connection that she didn't really have, because her and her father, her adoptive father, they weren't that close, and then her and her mom, they were okay, but her and her dad were not that close. So she lacked a lot of that familial bond and connection. So I feel like she was kind of holding on to that, despite how they were treating her. But in the end, yeah, that's it's a heavy story. The book isn't all that long. I think it's like, I don't think it was long at all. I think it was like almost 300 pages, but still. It's a huge story of revenge, but it also kind of plays into a little bit of when the reckoning comes, because it's very much like they don't want to see, so we're gonna make them see type of revenge. It's facing the truth, really. That's really what it is. I'm gonna put these last batches in the oven because yeah. I'm in the mood for some cookies. So hopefully my aunt doesn't kill me for baking. Because she's gonna be mad. She'll be like, dang it, you made cookies. I'm like, my bad. This video is going to be like very, not even, it's gonna be very little edited. Like, I just want to keep this like nice and raw. You see the chaos of me trying to bake and baking. Yeah, just keep it chill, pretty much, because this is what I planned on doing anyway, because I was just gonna talk a whole bunch of mess about these books. Not even mess, but just talk about these books while baking cookies, because I want cookies really, really bad, because I don't have any Oreos. And I had this, and I don't want it to go to waste. But yeah, if any of these books are of interest to you, I will put them down in the description box below. Since these books are heavier in the sense of just like the content and the history behind it, if this is something that if it's like a trigger for you, if it's still like very sensitive to read books about like slavery and abuse and all that kind of stuff, don't read the books. But if you're like, I'm just intrigued in general, go ahead, check them out. Yeah, that is all that I have for this video. So like, comment, share, subscribe to my channel, especially if you like this kind of setup, just like chit-chatting, baking, or making something. Just let me know, and we can actually like switch on over to this kind of thing for Fiction Fridays, or even just some videos. Just switch it up a little bit, because yeah, we can do this. I like to kind of do this kind of stuff. So anyway, be safe, love you guys, stay magical, bye.